I also want to talk to you, Dr. Singhvi, about the PMLA cases because you yourself have been fighting for these cases and you fought them well. Look at what happened to Kejriwal and several other cases which you've handled. And now we see a pattern where court has started making some very strong commentary on the ED officers, the way PMLA cases. What Supreme Court said in Santhal Balaji's case. Then also previously, then we had a and Haryana High Court judge making a very strong commentary, Justice Sindhu, saying, you need to follow certain UNO guidelines as far as interrogation process is concerned. And this was in contact with Surinder Pawar's interrogation, went on for 14 hours and 40 minutes. Now, is this a late awakening by the court? This was something which the court was observing right from day one. I mean, I'm just curious to ask you this question. Is it a late awakening of the court?
Well, I hate to admit it, but I think you're broadly right to the extent you use the phrase late awakening. I have in fact spoken in the recent past saying that there was a fortress of a statute created by this government, especially through the 2015, 16, 18 and 19 amendments to PMLA Act. Those introduced several draconian features, several features of an extreme kind. So in design, this is the government which the act came much earlier, but many of the draconian features have come now. Second, having designed that, they created this fortress of fear, of foreboding, of intimidation, which seemed very unassailable, impregnable fortress. And unfortunately, courts across the country, and especially the trial for the matter started, fell into that trap of looking at it as an impregnable fortress. And then along came Vijay Manal Chaudhary, which is the basis of making it that impregnable fortress. It was actually a draconian, it was actually a retrogressive, and it was used even much more retrogressively to create a hawa about it, to create a foreboding and a forbidding air about it. My real point is that today that fortress has become a hut. The walls are broken, the ramparts are broken, the moat has been breached, and the time is not far when that hut will lose its remaining walls and roof also. Because Vijay Manal Chaudhary is coming up for reconsideration starting 16th October. But what has happened in between? All the cases you are mentioning, there is two judgments, and I had the privilege of 16 in two. All the others are only following them. One is Manish Sisodia, one is Arvind Kejriwal. All the judgments cite those same. How they fell down? The original falling down started with Pankaj Bansal, who had the privilege of arguing, where they said that grounds of arrest, Neelu Vyas is told when getting in the car, your grounds are 1, 2, 3. Neelu Vyas' brother is told when getting off the car that the grounds are ABC. Neelu Vyas is shown the paper, here are the grounds. But Neelu Vyas is never furnished in writing the grounds of arrest. So Pankaj Bansal decided that don't give those to Neelu Vyas, the entire arrest is illegal.
Right.
That's the first wall or the rampart which fell down. Second, in Kejriwal and Sisodia, they said that, look, forget the grounds of arrest. The necessity to arrest has to be justified by you. The case starts 2 years ago, Neelu Vyas is never called. For 2 years. Suddenly she is called after 1.5 or 1 year, 9 months. And in the next calling, she is arrested. तो अरे भाई 2 साल से आवश्यकता नहीं थी, जरूरत नहीं थी, तो आप डेमोन्स्ट्रेट करिए कि नेसेसिटी ऑफ अरेस्ट क्या है. अरेस्ट का पावर इज नॉट इक्वल टू exercise of the power, because you have the power to arrest. That's the second part of the wall which fell. The third is the reason to believe which you as the police officer has to record on the file must show sufficiently that your reason to believe is informed by material. I can't say on the file, Neelu Vyas is black hair, I don't like black hair, I want to arrest her. That is of course an example, but let me say Neelu Vyas did not come once because I called her. Twice she was traveling abroad. I believe she should be arrested. The reason to believe on the file must disclose credible reasons. They're all linked. Then, fourth and most important, they created a hawa about section 45. Arey bhai, isme to bail hi nahi mil sakti. This is a bar to a bail, a prohibition to a bail. You can't get bail. Because the word used in that section absurdly in the design created by the BJP government is not guilty. Now, I can't prove that you're not guilty at that stage because the trial has not started. So now courts after court started holding that not guilty doesn't mean कि bail ही नहीं मिल सकती आपको. It only means that the threshold is higher. So that's a fourth strong one. The fifth and the strongest wall which fell. This is the biggest wall which fell. That is directly in Manish Sisodia and Arvind Kejriwal. And all the other judgments are following them now. And that said, look, the constitution is here. Upar hai. The statute is here. 45. That is PMLA. Sarvopari kya hai? Constitution. The constitutional mandate of Article 20, 21 and 22 says that trials can't be interminable. Delay activates Neelu Vyas' fundamental right to get out of jail because she's not supposed to wait in jail while the trial is going on with how much? 2 lakh documents, 400 witnesses, etc., etc. So they say for this matter, assuming that 45 bars your bail, even then the constitutional mandate of delayed trial or anti-delayed trial is higher, and that will trump. That will trump 45.
Dr. Singhvi,
following this, the high courts and the trial courts have become emboldened now. I find the same learned judges very amusing and very satisfying, very good to see. Now saying, no, out you go, trial is never good. I agree with you, the late awakening is correct. There was no reason why you could, there's the same law. The law has not changed. You have the boldness not to articulate it.
Right, but you explained this.
Vijay Vadalal Chaudhary will go shortly. I'm confident, hopefully, that the judges will review it. Of course, that's a matter coming up on 16th of October. Then you will have from a fortress to a hut, and from a hut to a ruin, a derelict ruin.
I was actually just coming to that bit because you beautifully explained how this entire fortress has been reduced to a hut, and you already explained how all the walls have already tumbled down. But the point is that has this not completely defanged, if I may use that word, has it not defanged the PMLA Act? The intention with which the enforcement agencies were arresting, detaining people, going up, chasing, all those, I mean, those were kind of weapons, which were developed. Has it defanged?
You see, at one level you are right, at one level you are wrong. What I've said about fortress, hut, and ruin is of course defanged, obviously. So it is defanged. It has reduced the weaponization. Number 2, there is still a lot of weaponry which needs to be defanged. Take, for example, a simple thing. Have you ever heard of such a big crime, 7 years in jail, difficult bail, and you're not given a copy of the ECR?
Yes.
If you want PMLA is a consequential offense. I murder you is a CBI offense, IPC offense. When I get money out of murdering you, then I take the money, then I convert it, project it, transform it. That becomes PMLA. Now, in the main murder offense, I get the FIR. But for the money laundering allegedly, which is conversion, I don't get any FIR. They call it DCR. Nothing. So, ये तो सीधा एक अजीबो-गरीब बात है. One of the issues pending in Vijay Madalal is why do you do it? Then other issues are, suppose I take money from you. So I have committed the crime, I have murdered you. But the money I have taken from you, I have put under my bed. And I have not done anything with it. That is cash money, you can have an income tax thing. But I have not, the words in the statute are used, projected, converted, or laundered. Laundering of money is the conversion of money by manifesting itself in a new property, in a new activity.
Right.
That has been forgotten. That again is up for consideration. So this is the answer number 2. The remaining parts of the defanging remain. And third and most important, even if all this is done, defanging is not an easy way in the common law system which we follow. Common law system is case by case. So today we know that grounds of arrest must be given to Neelu Vyas. Nothing prevents me from making your illegal arrest tomorrow also and not giving you grounds of arrest. मैं नहीं देता आपको. एक बार तो अरेस्ट हो गई आप, एक बार तो गिरफ्तार हो गई, जेल चली गई. अब आप जेल में सड़िए, फिर आपके वकील एक एप्लीकेशन डालेंगे, वो आएगी, उसमें जवाब का नोटिस होगा. अंततो गत्वा कोर्ट आपको रिहा कर देगी. उस प्रोसेस में 1, 2, 3 महीने लग जाएंगे. इसलिए तीसरा पॉइंट है, द प्रोसेस इज द पनिशमेंट. In our system, it's an individual case-by-case approach. The fact that in Pankaj Bansal it was held that you have to give the ground doesn't mean that Neelu Vyas can't be arrested without the ground. Neelu Vyas will win the case. But by the time she wins it, she will suffer. My intention is to make you suffer. I can make you suffer for 2 months.
But Dr. Singhvi, if a court rightly has started defanging this law, has started bringing down the walls of this fortress, what I don't understand is that, the period which is lost as far as the victims are concerned, why can't the court get into some kind of punitive measure against these ED officers, against these enforcement agencies? Look at Arvind Kejriwal. Look at Manish Sisodia's case was horrible. Almost more than a year he was in court. And how would the enforcement agencies compensate for that time for his family and everything?
You are making a very good point, but unfortunately, the sad truth is nothing has happened on that front. And I don't think, frankly, nothing can happen on that front. That's the sad part. You see, our system has certain principles which were designed for safeguarding, but they have become abusive. One of the principles is that ultimately a decision is wrong. What holds it to be wrong? And from that day, the release follows. You are released or you are let off. But equally, the principle is that we are not supposed to hold individuals guilty of deliberate wrongdoing unless you prove mala fides. Now, it is impossible to prove. It is actually impossible to prove that Abhishek Singhvi has personal mala fides against Neelu Vyas because he knew her for a long time ago and he hated her and he said, look, I'll fix her. Unless you prove that, which you cannot prove against any ED officer, you cannot get punitive measures. That's the problem. And that part of our law is underdeveloped. It is known as a constitutional tort. In other countries, A, the police system is more responsible. B, the punitive measures are worse. But I think that will take a long, long time. The inherent delays of the system, the lack of, the almost impossibility of proving any mala fides mean that is going to be, but that certainly is the correct deterrent if it happens, when it happens.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.